All right, it looks like it's time for another quarter notes. And before I dive into this, if you're wondering where my Porcupine Tree review is, I partnered up with Spectrum Pulse. So Mark and I reviewed it over on his channel. You can find it up there and find out what we thought about that album, because I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering what we thought about Closure Continuation from Porcupine Tree. So I won't have an actual review on my channel. Go over to his channel to go and check it out. So back to quarter notes. I love doing these because it gives me a chance to talk about some albums that I don't necessarily have a whole lot to say in terms of a full-length album review, but I still have just enough to say, or at least want to talk about these albums. So, without further ado, let's dive into it.
I'll miss you, go away.
Paradol Living by T. So, T is the moniker for the German neo-prog artist of Thomas Thalian. And Thomas has put out about 8 albums with the T moniker, and I really got into him with Psychoanorexia back in 2013. It's very like ethereal, very like neo-prog, but in the Steve Hogarth era of Marillion style. And all of his albums kind of circle around the same essence. And I'm feeling that still with Paradol Living. It follows up after his 2017 Soliosymmetrology. And all of his albums have these kind of titles. And I feel like this is a very good moniker for the music to be found within it, because it's very complex, very hard to pronounce, but in the end doesn't actually really mean a whole lot, unfortunately. And that's what we kind of find with Paradol Living. I feel like, you know, there is a lot of stuff going on within this album. You know, there's a lot of tracks that are in the 10 plus minute era. And normally I'm really excited about those tracks, but they don't go anywhere. You know, there's not a big crescendo. There's not a big idea of where these tracks are going to go. They're just kind of wandering the landscape. Yeah, I feel like this one is unfortunately a little bit more of the same without anything really new, really excited to get me into the music proper. So for me, Paradol Living is one that I would probably skip within his discography. I would go back to Psychoanorexia, or even the last album that he put out of Solistemology. Those were a little bit more enjoyable and had a little bit more teeth and meat on those bones without it just being wandering of the landscape. Wasn't a big fan of this one, and I probably won't be returning to it. So let's move on to the next one.
You wanna hypnotize me, go ahead.
Raw Data Feel by Everything Everything. So Everything Everything is a what do I even call them? A little bit proggy, kind of jazz rock, indie rock outfit from Manchester, formed in the late 2000s. A lot of people are saying that, you know, they infuse a lot of the complex electrical sounds with, you know, very aware and poignant lyrics. I don't... Sure. I mean, Raw Data Feel is their, 6th studio album. I know a lot of people are buzzing about this album because a lot of it has to do with artificial intelligence. But the thing that kind of sets this one apart is that they actually, you know, fed lyrics to a bot and just allowed the bot to kind of process and used a bunch of the lyrics that the bot spit out in the making of this album. But I don't know, overall, I felt like this album left me a little bit lukewarm. Like, it didn't leave me cold, but I wasn't all that excited. Like, I like some of the more poppier approaches to this particular project. You know, it has a lot of moments on here that have a lot of, like, danceable aspects and a lot of very fun moments, but I feel like the fun moments, instead of being like pure fun, is just kind of weird and out there. Like a lot of the moments from like Pizza Boy, I'm like, why are you doing this? I don't know. Now this is kind of the music that I would go to when I want something a little bit different, you know, something that I don't normally listen to. Isn't just either ambient sounds or neoclassical or anything along those lines, but I do want something that's just a little bit off kilter. You know, it's got a little bit more going on behind the scenes. I think this is a really fun time for anybody that likes this kind of, you know, complex but fun style of writing music. being presented in a very fresh, bright, and almost pop style of presentation. Like definitely more on the rock side of things, but not to the point where it's like very jagged, you know? So yeah, this is one that I would still probably stream. You know, I would still recommend checking it out, but I wouldn't go running out to go and check it out. So that's where I'm at for Everything, and their new album of Raw Data Fuel. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Preacher's Daughter by Ethel Cain. So Ethel Cain is the, I guess, stage name or pen name for Hayden Silas and Anadonia. I think it is Anadonia. Man, I am really bad with pronouncing names. I'm so sorry. As a fan of some of the more like contemporary artists like Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, and those artists, I found myself really like excited to listen to Ethel's like debut full-length album of The Preacher's Daughter. Man, if you are looking for like Southern Gothic Americana with very poignant and very charged lyrics that deal with like substance abuse, domestic violence, death, trauma, poverty, all those really good things. But like, I feel like with The Preacher's Daughter, it's all kind of spun around with Ethel as a character, their relationship with God, religion, and spirituality, and how those all kind of intermix to both enable as well as defend all of those items that I just talked about. Man, this is a powerful album. It's a powerful album. It's long, for sure. It's definitely long. Even after like the first couple of tracks with Family Tree Intro and American Teenager, like I just got sucked into her presentation, her songwriting ship, and her ability to just poignant lyrics that get right to the heart of it. And I love American Teenager and being fun, being boppy, being very bubbly. Like it's reminding me of like Sixpence None the Richer or the Cranberries, and being very almost happy in approach with the music, but also very dark in the subject matter. And that is found throughout the album as well, with Family Tree being one of the longer tracks on here. I mean, Thoroughfare being almost 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Ethel is not afraid to take the time and energy to really flesh out the story, to really flesh out the intricacies, the different dimensions of what's going on, and really touch upon something very, very human when the surroundings that you find yourselves are extremely inhuman. Ethel is able to hold the distorted mirror to kind of tell the truth of what her experience was. This was a fantastic outfit. If you're looking for more of an art piece that has the very Southern Gothic Americana singer-songwriter feel to it, if any of those nomenclatures are kind of dinging your bell in terms of, ooh, that sounds good, I would highly recommend going and checking this one out. It definitely leaves a lot of room for improvement because I do think it's a little too long. I do think that, she definitely bit off more that she can chew. And as much as I love those longer stretches of music, I think she really needs to tighten up the orchestration that's found on some of these tracks, or really develop some of those longer tracks into a huge crescendo by the end, because 9 minutes gives you a lot of time to do something very, very special. So yeah, this is one that I would absolutely pick up in physical format. I think you can't go wrong with Preacher's Daughter if you're into a challenging work, but if you're not into a challenging work, maybe leave this one on the floor side. So yeah, that's it for this one. Let's move on to the last one. Okay, Zeit by Rammstein. So Rammstein, I think most people know about Rammstein, but those who don't, I guess to put it bluntly, they're a metal band from Germany. I mean, the actual moniker is, what is it? New Duschty Heart Band, formed in Berlin in 1994. They really were one of the few industrial metal bands from Europe that crossed the ocean, especially with their big one of Du Hast. I've never really jumped on board the Rammstein train, but about halfway through this month, I decided to dig deep and, take a look at their career. And I've really enjoyed it. Like, if you're looking for fun, very polished electronic metal, like the industrial metal, but it was a good time. You know, good, just very energetic, very kind of metal. And now we come into Zeit. I was surprised at how mellow this one was. I was surprised at how like somber and at least musically introspective, because I have no idea what they're saying. So they could be saying pretty much anything and I wouldn't know. But I mean, at least in terms of the music, like it's a lot more somber. There's a lot more attention to atmosphere, to mood, to all those. And in one respect, I really dug that and I really appreciated this more heavy style approach to more somber music. But when I was kind of hoping for headbanging moments, I was a little disappointed in that sense. Now, it's still fun, and there's still some moments that I really, really enjoyed. Like the title track I really loved. I love Zigzag is probably my favorite track off of this, just how big and loud and fun it is. And the last one that I really liked was Titan, I think it is. I just thought it was funny to say, Dick Titan. And I like, again, how raw and how brutal those were. But I don't know. Like, I guess this style of music, you know, has its place. And if I were in the right mood and mindset, I probably would have liked this a lot more. But as it was still just a fun time with a lot of more somber and kind of more introspective moments on it. This is, again, one that I would probably stream. Probably not the best introduction to the band, so I was very good that I checked out some of Rammstein's other tracks and other albums beforehand, which I really appreciated and really enjoyed. And yeah, I think it was just kind of a fun time, and there you go. So those are the 4 albums that I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know which one was your favorite, which one was your least favorite, which one, I don't know, didn't I give the proper amount of time to? Let me know all of your thoughts about these albums, if you loved them, if you hated them, by commenting down below. And I think that's all I've got for you guys today. That's all I've got. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.